Please welcome Liz Uram.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here today, and I brought the Leadership Skill Kit with me. I'm going to share with you the tools that are in this skill kit that help leaders make a bigger impact, get better results, and motivate others to do their best. Today we're going to dig around in the communication compartment, and I'm going to share with you some tools you can use just in case you ever have to have a difficult conversation with a difficult person. But let me check in first. Do any of you know any difficult people? Yeah, the truth is difficult people are everywhere. We work with them, we live with them. You could be sitting next to one of them right now. And sometimes we are the difficult person. I don't know if you can relate to this, but I live with a difficult person. It's my husband. His name is Todd, and I just refer to him as my Todd because he's one of a kind. Now don't get me wrong, I love my Todd. I wouldn't trade him for anything or anyone. But can I tell you something? Sometimes he irritates me. Some of our conversations can be annoying, especially when I want to do something new, go somewhere different, anything that's out of the ordinary. Like that one time when my friend called. It was a Thursday, and she asked if we wanted to come to her cabin on Saturday. So I asked my Todd, do you want to go? Now, when I ask a question like that, I'm looking for one of two answers. I would just like a yes or a thank you. Well, my Todd answers questions with questions. And he wants to know, well, what time would we leave? And I'm like, I don't know, haven't thought about it. And then he wants to know, well, how long does it take to get there? And I'm like, don't know, we'll have to GPS it. And then he wants to know, well, who else is going to be there? And I'm like, I don't know, and who cares? And then he wants to know, well, what are we going to eat? And I'm like, chicken, okay, we'll bring chicken. Well, you get the idea. As this interrogation is going on, I start to take it personally. You probably wouldn't do that, but I do. And when I take things personally, I get defensive. And when I get defensive, well, my thoughts turn negative. And I start thinking to myself, he obviously doesn't want to go, and he hates my friends. All of them. Some people would stop there, but not me. I take it to the next level. I start thinking to myself, he never wants to do anything. All he ever wants to do is sit around and watch his 65-inch TV. I don't stop there. I quickly come up with 10 examples of when he did this before. And pretty soon, I have convinced myself that the only possible solution to this major life crisis is to call a therapist or a lawyer. But thankfully, I have something in my skill kit that prevents me from saying those things out loud. I have a filter. This is a My Todd size filter. It happens to be the model MT 2006. And this prevents me from saying hurtful, harmful things that aren't helpful. And that was a really good start. At least I wasn't saying them out loud. But I thought to myself, there has to be a better way. It should not be this difficult. And what I was really thinking was, I have got to figure out what is wrong with this man. And one day I remembered I had something in my skill kit that could maybe shed some light. Yes, a personality assessment. Some of you are familiar. I had my Todd take this. I got the results, and it explained everything. He wasn't being difficult. He was just different. So very different. He needed two things from me that I never gave him. He needed time to process and information. Well, I want to improve my communication with my Todd and with everyone I come into contact with, so I thought I would add some tools to my skill kit to help when I have to have a potentially difficult conversation. About 3 years ago, I went to Washington, D.C. to give a presentation. That sounds really impressive, doesn't it? You're probably thinking, wow, did she testify on Capitol Hill or what? No, it was a seminar at the Holiday Inn. But still, I thought it'd be really fun if my Todd came with. But before I presented this new and exciting idea to him, I went to my skill kit to get ready. Now, this was a conversation that was going to require several tools, so I knew I would need my tool belt. And first, I got my Q-tip shield. This is the Q-tip shield. Q-T-I-P. Quit taking it personally. And this reminds me that his need for information is not a personal attack on me. Okay? Next, I knew I would need a filter. It was my Todd, after all. I have a variety of filters in all shapes and sizes. Can I tell you guys a secret? Can I trust you with something? Sometimes I am the difficult person. I have strong opinions, I have a big mouth, and I'm a blurter. But I have improved over the years. I rarely need the MT 2006 anymore. In most cases, the MT 2016 will do the trick. Got that. And then finally, I get my adapter. This adapter helps translate my language into my Todd's language. It reminds me that he needs those two things from me, time and information. Now I am ready to have the conversation. So I go to my Todd, and I said, honey, guess what? I'm going to Washington, D.C. Wouldn't it be so exciting if you came with? What do you think? Do you want to come? And he asked, when? And I said, not for 4 months. Time. And he said, well, that's a long ways off. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to have to check my calendar. I'll think about it. I'll let you know. And I said, okay. Just so you all know, I know what's on his calendar. Nothing. I'm sorry, but binge watching Netflix does not count. So I waited to hear back, and he never said another word about it. So I checked in. I said, honey, have you thought any more about coming to DC? What do you think? Do you want to come? And he said, what are you talking about? You never said anything about that. Do you ever wish you had recorded a conversation? But we don't. I'm sorry, no recorders in your skill kit. No recorders, we can't do that. I just looked at him and I said, well, what do you think? And the interrogation began. Where are we going to go? What are we going to do? Where are we going to stay? How are we going to get around? But this time was different. This time I had information. While he had been thinking about it, I had been researching, I had been getting recommendations. I had all these ideas and I shared them with him and we talked about them and we looked things up online and we had this great conversation. And no, I did not get a response from him just then. But long story short, eventually he agreed to come along. He said he wanted to come along. And can I tell you something? We had the best trip ever. It was so awesome, beginning to end. It was a great time. No stress, no fuss, just easy. I don't know if this has ever happened to anybody else, but I have had some doozies of arguments on vacation in different parts of the world, okay? But not this time. It was awesome. But this was the key. He wanted to come with. So the question really isn't, how do we deal with all those difficult people? Those difficult people aren't going anywhere. They're always going to be there. The real question is, how do I get other people to want to come along? Well, we need tools. We need tools in our skill kit. So I just shared a few tools with you today, okay? But this bag is full. I have many of my tools here. I invite you to come out at the break, come and see them, come visit me on my table. You can dig around in the skill kit. And you can pull out the tool that you need. We'll take a picture of you with it so you have that as a reminder so you can keep that front of mind, because that's really the key here. How do we get other people to want to do what we want them to do? If you enjoyed this presentation, I'd love to share it with your team. I speak on leadership. There's many other compartments in this skill kit as well. And I encourage leaders everywhere to fill up your skill kit with tools you can use so you can make a bigger impact, get better results, and motivate others to want to do their best. Thank you so much.